Buddha has had so much influence, so much of people connected with him. Still, lot of problems are there in the world as we see currently, right? A lot of wars are happening. How do you see this?
Buddha saw human beings have a lot of weaknesses.
What would it take for a normal human being like us who want to see the goodness flower? Where should they start?
No matter how dark the night is, even a little lamp has the power to attract people who are in the darkness. All we need just to become the 100th monkey.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. Today we have Bhante Saranapala joining us to discuss about various things that are happening in this world. Bhante ji is urban Buddhist monk. He popularly is known as urban Buddhist monk. He has lived in Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and Canada and is a regular speaker on religious matters. Bhante, please welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Pradeep, for having me on your podcast. It's such a joy for me to be here with you.
Same here. So, the first question that I want to ask, or rather, I want to discuss with you, Buddha has had so much influence, so much of people connected with him, and a lot of his teachings are kind of revered today. People look up to it, and still, lot of problems are there in the world as we see currently, right? A lot of wars are happening,
Mhm.
and the human to human relationship seems to have been affected, or there is some sort of crisis going on in that relationship. How do you see this?
Well, I think Buddha clearly understood the mentality of human being. Buddha saw human beings have a lot of weaknesses.
Mm, okay.
So those weaknesses can be highlighted as greed, craving, desire, anger, aversion, hatred, ignorance, delusion, jealousy, envy, self-centeredness, conceit, pride, ego, and so forth.
Okay.
So as long as people have these weaknesses, people are going to make mistakes.
Okay.
They are going to be in conflict with everything. So the Buddha simply showed the way
Okay.
how to minimize these weaknesses,
Hmm. Okay.
how to maximize the human potentials, human strengths.
Okay.
And so the human strengths and potentials are love, kindness, compassion. Buddha showed, especially when we talk about the Four Noble Truths, let's say, that's the heart of Buddhist philosophy.
Hmm.
He identified the problem. The problem is the dukkha, let's say, the suffering, the pain. And then he diagnosed the root cause behind this problem. The root cause behind the problem, the suffering, dukkha, is what Buddha called tanha,
Okay.
or in Sanskrit trishna. That means thirst, or that is craving and desire. You don't feel enough. You want more, 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 more.
Right. Okay.
And then he realized actually we have the power to remove this problem. We can become free from this suffering.
Okay.
And in order to remove the suffering, in order to become free from this dukkha, then he said there's a way to do it. So the hope for the light, for the happiness, the hope for the freedom from suffering is what Buddha called nibbana or nirvana.
Okay.
That is the complete freedom from human suffering.
Okay.
And in order to minimize the problem and to completely remove the problem and to cultivate and to develop the opposite of the problem, which is the freedom from the problem, the suffering, or nirvana, that is what we call the Noble Eightfold Path. And so the Noble Eightfold Path is basically avoiding the 8 type of wrong practices
Okay.
and then embracing the opposite of those wrong practices called, so those are called samma ditthi.
Okay.
Samma ditthi means the right view or right understanding, right perspective.
Right. Okay.
And then Samma Kammanta, that is the right intention, right thought, right thinking,
Okay.
right
Okay.
mentality.
Okay.
And then the right speech,
Right.
then right action, then right livelihood,
Mm.
then right effort,
Mm.
then right mindfulness,
Okay.
and then right concentration.
Right.
So these are called Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva,
Mm.
Samma Vayama, Samma Sati,
Mm.
Samma Samadhi. After explaining all this, look, when Buddha practiced these 8 steps,
Mm.
which help him become Buddha, become enlightened,
Mm.
basically he removed all the weaknesses,
Okay.
and then he made his mind full of love and compassion,
Okay.
full of bliss,
Okay.
and he became enlightened, right?
Right.
And then he became the happiest.
Right.
And then, as a completely changed person and as an enlightened being, he walked in the society from village to village, kingdom to kingdom.
Mm.
When people saw him, they said, "Look, wait a minute, you're looking different.
Mm.
You're looking happy. You're
Okay.
looking peaceful.
Mm.
You're looking very serene.
Mm.
What kind of uh, path do you follow?
Okay.
What kind of things did you do to
Right.
make yourself like this?"
Mm.
Then, but that when people became curious,
Mm.
they said, "Look, I you can call me the Buddha,
Mm.
and this is what I did. This is the path I followed.
Mm.
These are the principles I cultivated,
Mm.
and cultivation of these principles made my mind become completely free from all the weaknesses,
Okay.
and that made me a strong person, a healthy person,
Right.
the happiest person.
Right.
Anyone can become what I have become.
Okay.
Anyone can achieve what I have achieved.
Right.
All I can show you the way how to get there,
Mm.
but I can don't expect me to do the work for you.
Okay. Everyone
You
has to
have,
travel the path.
yeah. So you have
Okay.
to do the work.
Right.
So he's basically
Mm.
acting like a doctor,
Mm.
a medical doctor.
Okay.
So when people go to see the doctor,
Mm.
and they say, "Well, okay, let me check you." And after checking, the doctor diagnoses the problem.
Mm.
What made you sick? And
Okay.
then doctor says, "Yeah, don't worry, you will recover. you,
Okay. Okay.
you will feel better."
Mm.
So in order to recover from this, so here's the prescription.
Right. Right.
And they had to, so according to the prescription, if you take the medicines,
Mm.
you know, 3 times a day or before or after the meal,
Mm.
then within a day or 2 or 3,
Right.
you become a healthier person.
But you have to take
But
that medicine.
yeah, so then after
Mm.
the doctor is doing his job, right?
Mm.
But
Right.
if the patient doesn't follow the prescription,
Mm.
so whose problem is that? Is
Mm.
the problem of the doctor or the
Mm.
patient?
Patient, of course. Right.
Patient. So this is
Mm.
also the same. And then those
Mm.
who actually listened to the Buddha, followed his dharma
Mm.
with honesty and sincerity, and then they were able to free themselves from all these problems. So today, uh, whatever we see,
Mm.
this problem. Let's say the war.
Mm.
So this is not the Buddha's problem.
Mm.
Buddha, Buddha taught not to go for war.
Mm.
Don't fight.
Right.
Don't hurt anyone.
Mm.
Don't engage in
Mm.
violent activities.
Mm.
Embrace the compassion. Embrace sentient beings with love and compassion.
Mm.
But then, people have this, they are feeding their own weaknesses with more weaknesses.
Okay.
with a big ego, with conceit, with pride, and
Mm-hmm.
then they're feeding their mind with hatred, anger, and then greed, never feeling enough. They
Mm-hmm.
always feel incomplete. They want more, 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 more.
Mm-hmm.
See, the craving, desire, greed,
Mm-hmm.
anger, aversion, and
Right.
ignorance are causing the problems. In fact, Buddha taught Dharma to remove these
Mm-hmm.
causes. eh?
Yes. So I think the main and problem that we are witnessing is there is a prescription. Okay, there is a life in which you can be happy, you can get rid of all your weaknesses.
Yeah,
But we choose not to go there. We
yeah,
choose to live with our problems
yeah,
and kind of we think we will be able to solve all our problems without going there. And that is where I think we get stuck into all these
yeah.
dangerous solutions, let us say like war.
Yeah, that's the problem. People are not following
Mm.
what their spiritual leaders taught, actually.
Okay, okay.
If what the spiritual leaders taught,
Hmm.
if their disciples, if their followers can follow
Hmm.
those teachings,
Hmm.
I don't think there would be any problem.
Okay.
So now they are not, they say yes,
Hmm.
but they are, we would say they are not the real practitioners.
Okay.
And they are, let's say, maybe people could say Buddhist, I'm Hindu, Christian,
Hmm.
Jew, Muslim,
Hmm.
so on and so forth.
Hmm.
But these are what we call the religious people by birth,
Right. Okay.
not by practice.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
But if you really practice what they taught,
Hmm.
I don't I don't think we would have this problem today.
And
But human beings, after all,
right.
people are ignorant. That's why it's called avidya.
Okay.
Because of ignorance,
Okay.
people fall into all these traps.
Another aspect that I wanted you to put some light on, there is this concept of Karuna and Maitri in Buddhism, right? And which Buddha also, I think, taught about. But we see a lot of hatred and kind of selfish behavior also in the society.
Yeah.
And what would it take for people to kind of shed that away and follow the path of, let's say, Karuna and Maitri? What would it take to kind of become aware about it?
Well, Pradeep, I said that's a very good question, very powerful question, I would say. Uh, like even if people can think how you're thinking right now, it would pave the way to become better human beings.
Okay.
So the thing is, I think it's the little act of kindness that you had to do.
Okay.
Just little thing. Let me give you a very powerful metaphor or simile given by the Buddha.
Okay.
Let's say when a little drop of water
Hmm.
keeps falling into the big pot,
Okay.
that pot one day will be
Cool.
full.
Hmm.
In the same way, if people can let one drop of good thing
Okay. Okay.
to fall into their mind pot,
Okay. Okay.
that mind pot is going to be
Cool.
one day full.
That's very
And
interesting.
also,
Hmm.
let me give you another simile, another metaphor.
Hmm.
No matter how dark the night is, even a little lamp
Hmm.
has the power
Okay.
to attract people who are in the darkness.
Right.
Oh, there's a light.
Hmm.
They will get drawn to that light.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Now imagine, now
Hmm.
you make it bigger light,
Hmm. Okay.
right?
Hmm.
Or bigger lamp,
Hmm.
there will be more light.
Right.
It will be shedding more light.
Right.
So we human beings should try to become that glimpse of light in the darkness.
Okay.
We should make every effort to become the little drop of goodness,
Mm-hmm.
love, and kindness.
Okay. So,
If we can continue doing this,
mm,
one day
mm-hmm.
our mind pot is going to be full of kindness and compassion, Karuna and Maitri.
Which makes it very easy to understand, like when we say Karuna and Maitri,
Yeah,
rather than understanding it as very difficult to do things and unpracticable concepts. What we have to do is very small acts of kindness is what we have to start with, and
yeah,
before we even realize, our whole
yeah,
mind will be full of that. Okay.
yeah. So let me, this is the very reason why I keep telling
Hmm.
a very powerful story.
Okay.
You can actually find that story in my book, Are You Kindful?
Okay. Okay.
Um, all we need just to become the 100th monkey.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I tell the 100th monkey story to the people.
Okay.
So that story is one day, 100 monkeys
Hmm.
made a journey through the desert.
Okay.
So, of course, it was hot,
Hmm.
they were hungry, they were tired, they were thirsty. In far distance,
Hmm.
they saw something green,
Hmm.
and they realized that must be a tree.
Okay.
When they saw that little tiny green,
Hmm.
with the hope it could be the tree, they all rushed. They all rushed toward that
Okay.
green.
Okay.
When they started getting closer, then the little green thing became bigger. Then they realized, it's a tree.
Okay.
So when they got to the tree,
Okay.
they found it to be the mango tree. They
Okay.
were so happy. So
Hmm.
they saw mangoes fallen to the ground.
Hmm.
And they were thirsty, they
Hmm.
were hungry. So since they were very hungry, and the monkeys, all the monkeys,
Hmm.
picked up the mangoes from the ground and started eating. The 100th monkey also picked up a mango from the ground,
Okay.
and then he took a bite of it, and he found a kind of different taste, like because it's mixed with the sand and the dirt and all this stuff.
Okay.
So he saw there's waters nearby.
Hmm.
So okay, what if I wash the mango and eat it?
Okay.
So he washed the mango
Hmm.
and took another bite.
Okay.
He found it to be very tasty.
Okay.
No sand, no dirt.
Okay.
And then it was he enjoyed that
Hmm.
mango.
Hmm.
Then he told 99 monkeys,
Okay.
hey guys, you don't have to eat the mango with dirt and sand.
Hmm.
Why don't you wash the mango and eat?
Okay.
And all the 99 monkeys said, who? You crazy. Who
Hmm.
has the time to wash the mango? This is
Okay.
okay. We are going to eat the
Hmm.
mango like this.
Okay.
But he said, no, come on. I think he felt very compassionate.
Hmm. Okay.
Uh, so, so he said, no, just try.
Hmm.
Nobody listened to him.
Hmm.
When he kept saying this,
Hmm.
99th monkey
Hmm.
listened to him. He said, okay, let me try.
Okay. Okay.
So when he washed the mango and then he started eating that,
Hmm.
wow, this is really tasty.
Okay.
You're right.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's,
Hmm.
he approved the 100th monkey. You're right. It's
Okay.
very delicious, very tasty.
Okay.
And then now 100th monkey and the 99th monkey, both of them started telling all other 99 monkeys.
Okay. Okay.
And all other 99 monkeys said, you two are crazy.
Okay.
So, but they said, no, 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 come on,
Hmm.
it will be very tasty. Just wash the mango and eat and see.
Okay.
The 98 monkey tried that.
Hmm.
And he also found it to be very tasty. And
Okay.
like that, one by one, one by one, one by one. Eventually,
Okay.
all the 100 monkeys
Okay. Tried it. Okay.
with the same practice.
Interesting. So what we are saying here essentially is earlier in the when you start, you might be the only one, the lonely
Yeah,
one who may have, experienced something or experienced wisdom. And
yeah,
when you kind of share it with others, they may not accept it in the beginning,
yeah,
but you should not be worried about all that. Whatever
yeah,
goodness you know, you should keep sharing all the time.
right.
Eventually, the balance will change, and
Yeah,
more people will start kind of, because if they see the value in it, they see the goodness of what you are
yeah.
sharing,
Hmm.
then automatically they would also kind of start sharing,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the thing will spread.
yeah.
Okay, it's a
So
very
that is
interesting story.
exactly what actually I have been doing for years
Hmm.
in North America, in Canada,
Okay,
especially.
okay,
I can tell you a lot of stories. Let's
okay.
say I don't know whether you have seen the soup kitchen
Hmm.
that I ran day before yesterday. You know, the
Okay.
soup kitchen is called offering or
Hmm.
giving lunch meals or
Okay,
meal to the homeless people.
sure.
So I started doing this soup kitchen in 1995.
Oh, nice.
Those days, it was very difficult for me to bring the young people,
Okay, okay.
but somehow I managed to do it
Hmm.
with few people, few young people.
Okay.
And then when they came to the soup kitchens, and of course they made the meals, they served the meals to the homeless people.
Hmm.
After that, we did the reflection,
Hmm.
and I explained why we are doing it.
Hmm.
And guess what? They did not regret coming to the soup kitchen.
Okay.
And after that, every time I do,
Hmm.
I see, more young people are coming.
Oh, nice.
And
Okay.
more young people are coming.
That's very interesting. Okay.
So now I don't have to, those days I had to call them.
Okay.
I had to convince them to come. But
Mm-hmm.
now all I do,
Hmm.
just send a message.
Okay. The message spreads by itself after that. Okay.
Yeah. And now they just look forward to coming to it.
Very, very
Why?
interesting.
Because they got the taste of doing such act
Hmm.
of kindness.
Okay. So, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
And coming back to our one of the discussions that we are doing, right? Like the state of the world that we see around, right? It's almost like a race between, the mind and the heart, right? Where mind has somehow weighed upon,
Mm,
and a lot of problems that we assume that were solved in the earlier days are coming back, it seems. Okay,
mm,
whether it's, let's say, right wing thinking
mm,
or imperialistic, mindset, like we want to conquer all the other countries and kind of, all those things, because from last 50 or, so many years, we are reading about concepts like Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole world is a family, and, let us not be too selfish.
yeah.
But it is still very much of a hard problem, it seems, in today's time. And
Mm,
though, as you mentioned rightly, people like Buddha have solved it, and right, and they have told it, and anybody can solve it who takes interest in this. But
mhm.
as I mentioned, it has almost become like a race. Like, what will happen first? Will the whole world get destroyed because of all this selfishness, or people, or that balance will come where, as you mentioned about the monkeys, right?
Yeah.
Whether more and more monkeys will taste the real mango, or whether it will all be kind of, all the spoiled things will spread. So,
Yeah.
my question is like, what would it take for a normal human being like us, right, who is not a politician, who is not a military guy, right, who want to see the goodness flower? Where should they start? I mean, as per you.
Well, Pradeep, this is what it should start from you.
Okay.
Remember what Mahatma Gandhi once said. Actually, I believe, I strongly believe,
Hmm.
he got that message from the Buddha.
Okay.
Uh, he said, "Be the change you would like to see in the world."
Okay.
So if you would like to see
Hmm.
a peaceful world,
Okay.
first you be that peace. If you want to change the world with peace,
Hmm.
first you have to be the peace. And then wherever you go,
Hmm.
you become the icon of peace. You become the beacon of hope for peace.
Okay.
It's I can tell you the story. I don't know whether you followed that walk for peace
Hmm.
done by the Buddhist monks in the United States. It was huge. They started about 21
Hmm.
Buddhist monks walked from Texas to Washington, D.C.
Hmm. Okay.
So that is 2,300 miles.
Oh my God.
They
Okay.
walked
Hmm.
2,300 miles.
Okay.
They started that walk for peace end of October last year.
Hmm.
And they just arrived at their destiny in Washington, D.C. on February 10th. So
Okay.
I joined them in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
I walked with them for 3 days there.
Okay.
Now, at the beginning, nobody paid attention.
Hmm.
No, even people didn't like it. Most people didn't like it.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
Even they got into a problem. So a pickup truck hit them.
Oh.
So it was on news, and suddenly people woke up to the reality. These monks are just walking for peace. They are
Hmm.
not asking for anything.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
They are just doing the mindful walk.
Right.
They're just walking, and their destiny is Washington, D.C.
Hmm.
And they're walking for peace.
Hmm.
And when this was on the news, then
Hmm.
suddenly people became curious to know,
Hmm.
and they started following them.
Hmm.
And then, day by day, it
Hmm.
started growing.
Okay.
And after a month, guess what, Pradeep? People would just wait for them. They started tracking them, what direction they are going to, what road they are walking on.
Okay.
And they would just line up on the roads. And wherever they're stopping for lunch
Hmm.
or for the night, people just gather there to take a look
Okay.
and to listen to what they're saying.
Hmm. 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 Okay.
By the time they arrived in South Carolina,
Hmm.
you won't believe more than 100,000 people walked with them on the roads
Okay.
with the help of the local police.
Okay.
And police actually escorted them
Okay.
from Texas to Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And when I went to Washington, D.C., you won't believe there are thousands of people. They were
Okay.
so happy, so emotional. They
Okay.
were so happy to see the monks walking for peace. And they greatly appreciated that. Now, these monks did not ask people to come,
Hmm.
people just got drawn to it.
Right.
So, the leader monk actually gave some wonderful teachings.
Okay.
These are not Buddhist people.
Hmm.
These are the American people, Christian people. There are a lot of all people from all faith traditions. There were Hindu people were there.
Hmm.
There are Christians, Jews, Muslim, even Muslim people. They all were there. So now you may wonder as to what's the magic behind this?
Hmm.
What's the secret behind this?
Hmm.
So anything you do
Hmm.
at the beginning is hard.
Okay.
Nobody would pay you attention.
Okay.
And then when you keep going, when there's a consistency of what you're doing,
Hmm.
and then day by day, it will be impactful. It will it will be very powerful practice. Now
Okay.
in Washington D.C., we were received by the United States senators,
Okay.
the 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 Senator Nancy Pelosi and other senators,
Okay.
when we walked to the Capitol Hill, they came out to greet the monks,
Mm-hmm.
and there were thousands of people. And we had reception at the Washington's National Cathedral.
Okay.
We had last day program was a Lincoln Memorial. There were more than 50,000 people gathered at that place.
Okay.
Now whole world
This
was
is a
watching this.
very interesting observation because what it is telling me is that people in general also want to see good things. They want to
Yeah,
connect with it,
yeah,
but somebody has to show the light, right? Or
yeah,
should I say, not exactly movement, but exact kind of a. If you're just walking with a good intention, that's all.
yeah,
Just walking
yeah,
with good intention,
yeah,
like that, people can connect with that also. So people are eager to connect with this kind of state of mind, let us say.
yeah, yeah,
And so in our mind, if we sometimes feel disheartened that there is a lot of negativity in the world,
yeah,
that is not completely true,
yeah,
because people in general want to be happy, they want to
yeah,
associate with, let's say, goodness.
yeah,
It's just that since that does not get expressed much, we don't know about it.
yeah,
On the other hand, if we see news and all, we see all these bad things and all, we think, okay, the whole world is like that, but that may not be true.
yeah,
And more than anybody else, the general people, I think we can look forward to actually.
yeah. Yeah, that's what we have seen. Now if people are crying
Hmm.
just by seeing the monks,
Hmm.
and that's because it's touching their heart.
Right.
And I think what I hear from the feedbacks from the public, because there were a lot of news channels,
Hmm.
they were talking to the people, general people. So why did you come? What is this?
Hmm.
From what they're saying, what I have learned is that people are kind of tired of what is going on in the world.
Hmm.
People are tired of violence.
Right.
People are tired of all the problems in the world.
Hmm.
People have become hopeless. So now, when these monks are peacefully and mindfully walking with this good intention,
Hmm.
they found hope in them.
Okay.
And then they said, when they found the hope,
Hmm.
then they said, wow, this is what we need.
Okay.
Now, if you search in the social media, there are thousands of people, I would say millions and millions of people, are just talking about this movement.
Okay.
With the pictures and videos, they are writing about their own experience by being part of that walk for peace.
As we have already discussed, right, when we started, you mentioned a very interesting observation that we are Hindu or Buddhist or Muslim by our birth, right? This is not our deepest or truest nature, probably. What we do
Mm-hmm.
is what reflects us essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the same logic can also be applied to national divisions, probably, when we say we are Indian or American and all those things. That again, we are by birth. And but it is also one of the major causes of divisions or divisive thinking, right? And how would you say, what's the take that Buddha had on these kind of identity based divisions? Because these are a big bottleneck for compassion, I believe. What do you?
Mm. Yeah, there is a saying of the Buddha. It says, a person becomes uh, noble or ignoble,
Okay.
not by birth,
Hmm.
but by karma, by actions,
Okay.
what you do.
Okay.
Let's say you could say, I'm a member of this noble family,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
But then, although you're a member of the noble family,
Hmm.
but your action, your behavior is saying something else.
Okay. Okay.
If you're misbehaving,
Mm-hmm.
if you're misconducting yourself,
Okay.
then it doesn't mean you're still noble,
Right. True.
right? So in the same way, we are human beings.
Okay.
Uh, as human beings, actually, when we were born,
Mm.
we were not born with any race or nationality or religion.
Right.
We were called, let's say Pradeep.
Mm.
Pradeep, that is not the name you
Right.
came with.
Correct.
It's a name given by your parents.
Mm.
Let's say if you're Hindu, you were not born
Mm.
as Hindu, but
Mm-hmm.
you were born to a Hindu family,
Mm.
and then because of that, you become a Hindu,
Right.
right?
So all name
So,
and identities are acquired from outside. We are not born with
as
it. True.
yeah.
Mm.
So, but in reality,
Mm.
we are human beings.
Mm-hmm.
As human beings, we don't like to be harmed.
Okay.
Uh, we don't like to be killed.
Right.
We don't like to be beaten.
Right.
We all fear death.
Right.
So, and realizing this,
Mm.
we have to take some actions.
Mm.
Whatever I feel, let's say, as a person,
Mm.
as a monk, as a human being,
Mm.
I don't want anyone to come and harass me
Right.
or beat me or kill me
Mm.
or abuse me.
Right.
But if then I had to understand, if I don't like that kind of behaviors,
Mm.
I have to understand others also don't like that kind of behavior.
True.
They also don't like to be killed, beaten,
Mm.
or
Expert.
or, or just kind of negative things.
Right.
So as a human being,
Mm.
I like to be happy.
Right.
I like to be peaceful.
True.
I like to be healthy.
Mm.
I want to be rich.
Mm.
Eh?
Right.
So in the same way, I also have to understand others also have the same wish.
Right.
Eh?
Right.
So so the Buddha said, Sukha kamani bhutani.
Mm.
All sentient beings
Mm.
like to be happy.
Mm.
Eh?
Right.
So and then in that case,
Mm.
then we need to find some ways where we all can be happy.
Right.
So what if you're but I think what's happening is that nowadays people are not giving priority to the human values.
Right.
So what are the human values? Non-violence,
Right.
love,
Mm.
compassion,
Mm.
kindness,
Right.
kindfulness,
Mm.
all the positive things.
Mm.
But unfortunately, people are giving priority to the negativity. Eh?
Sadly.
So there's a First Nation story,
Mm. Okay.
okay?
Okay.
Because I like to tell stories.
We like to listen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one day,
Mm.
a grandfather
Mm.
was telling a story of two wolves
Mm.
fighting constantly. He
Okay.
said,
Mm.
"My dear grandson, there are two wolves
Mm.
fighting all the time." And then grandson became curious. He said, "Grandpa, grandpa,
Mm.
so who is going to win
Mm.
out of these two wolves?
Mm.
Which wolf will be winning?"
Mm.
And the grandfather took a deep breath
Mm.
and said, "The one you're going to side with
Okay.
is going to win."
Okay. Okay.
Right?
Mm,
So, so that means this is the pure psychology.
mm,
Buddha said there are two things constantly fighting.
mm,
What are these two things? Emotion and
mm.
the reasoning.
Right.
And in this fight, in this conflict between the reasoning and emotion, normally who wins?
I think emotion generally wins.
Is the emotion.
Right. Mm. Okay.
So when you keep
Mm,
feeding your mind with all the negativities,
mm,
it doesn't matter whoever you are. You
mm,
could be a monk, you could be a layperson, you could be Indian or Hindu or Buddhist or Muslim or Christian. It doesn't, American, Canadian, it doesn't really matter.
mm, mm,
If you're feeding your mind with all the
mm,
negativities,
mm,
that is what going to be powerful. If you're feeding your mind with all the negativities,
mm,
and if
mm,
you stop feeding the mind with the good things,
mm,
and then there again is two brains.
mm.
In today in neuroscience they call it Velcro brain and the Teflon brain.
Okay.
So Velcro brain is a bad brain,
Okay.
and the Teflon brain is a good brain.
Okay.
But at the moment, our Velcro brain is very powerful.
Mm,
Why? We are feeding it with all the negativities
okay.
every day. We are
Yeah.
not we are not feeding the
Mm,
Teflon brain. Teflon brain is therefore is very weak.
okay. I
So
think
that's why
that's a
that's
very
why we have the problems.
so what we feed is obviously that monster will become healthy if we feed it. And on the other
Yeah,
side, if we feed the good one, that will spread more. Okay, very, very
yeah,
interesting observation. And
yeah,
you also mentioned a very interesting point that, between emotion and reasoning, there is a kind of a battle. And
yeah,
not that we have to choose one, but we have to choose the balance, I believe here, right? Because
yeah,
emotions can also be right and wrong. Right now, there
yeah,
is a lot of negative emotions, and we see
yeah,
news, we see, let's say, outside in our society, people are fighting, or we
yeah,
see somewhere, and when we see all these fights, or all this violence, or all this kind of, psychological gains,
yeah,
it kind of affects our mind, and we
yeah,
think this is normal. This is more
yeah.
prominent, and we also start becoming like that.
Yeah,
And
that's what's happening. No, it's like every day.
so what you see, you become. Just like we said, right? Be the change you
Yeah,
want to see.
yeah,
If you
yeah,
see everything negative, you will also become negative. But
yeah,
you have to, in a way, protect your mind from all these negativities.
yeah.
And if you really believe in some goodness, be the goodness that you want to see in the society.
That's right.
Okay, that's
So that is what I don't know whether you know this story of Nelson Mandela.
I am
You
aware.
know that Nelson Mandela jailed for
27,
27 years.
right?
After 27 years,
Hmm.
he was freed.
Right.
So as he was leaving the jail,
Hmm.
he stood at the prison gate
Hmm.
and then he contemplated,
Hmm.
today I am free to go.
Hmm.
But then, shall I go out
Hmm.
as a completely free man,
Hmm.
or shall I go out still being present inside with a lot of hatred, anger, and taking revenge?
Okay. Okay. That's very interesting. Okay.
Then he realized, no, he decided to go as a completely free man.
I mean, that's very, very powerful, I would say,
Yeah,
because if somebody has wronged with you, right? Someone has done injustice, and 27 years is a mighty long time.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like a lifetime, actually.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
when you have developed, because everybody is a human being eventually, right?
yeah,
If somebody is
yeah,
doing injustice to you, you can be very, very revengeful, or you can
yeah,
at least be very negative. But
yeah,
when you are at the door of your freedom, you have this choice whether you should kind of continue that negativity of the past,
Yeah.
completely free your mind from all that and start a new life.
Yeah.
And Mr. Nelson Mandela chose a very, very interesting path where
Yeah.
he not only
I,
forgave, but I think freed everything, right? Like,
yeah.
yeah,
That he, we all know
mm,
later on he became a very powerful man,
right, right,
president.
right,
He got the political power.
right,
He had the privilege of taking revenge from everyone.
correct,
But he chose to forgive everyone.
right,
That's why today
mm,
people are still talking about it. That's why he became the icon of forgiveness, icon of freedom, icon of peace.
right,
That's exactly what Buddha taught us.
okay.
Don't imprison yourself with these negativities.
Empty your mind of all the
Whatever,
negativity.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Whatever happened in the past, let it be in the past.
okay.
Don't bring the past to the present to destroy the peace of mind.
Don't live in the past.
Yeah. And now you the Buddha constantly
Mm,
encouraged his disciples to contemplate on the karma.
okay,
We monks reflect on this teaching every day.
okay,
It says, Kamma Sakomhi.
mm,
I am the owner of my own karma.
okay,
Kamma Yoni. I was born with karma.
right,
Karma Bandhu. Karma is my relative, my friend,
mm,
my relation.
mm,
Uh, Karma Bandhu, Karma Padisarana. Karma is my refuge, my shelter.
mm,
Yang Kammang Karisami Kalyanangva Papagangva.
mm,
Whatever karma I do,
mm,
good or bad,
mm,
Tassa Dayado Bhavisami, I will inherit that karma.
okay, that's true.
So whatever people do to us,
Mm,
that is their karma.
correct.
They are the owners of their karma, not us.
Mm,
We don't have to take the ownership of their own karma,
right, right, absolutely. Mm,
right? So Nelson Mandela did not take the ownership of others' karma.
mm,
He
right,
took the ownership of his own karma, good karma, from
right.
today. I'm just going to
Mm,
forgive everyone. That is not my problem. They hurt me, they jail me because of their own hatred, their misunderstanding, their aversion, or their whatever big ego, whatever it is.
right.
And then those kind of things, those who behave like this,
Mm,
is called narrow-mindedness. You are still
mm,
looking at the picture from the ground. But
mm,
Nelson Mandela, at the prison gate, he
mm,
rose in the sky.
right,
He looked from the sky
true.
and understood, and it gave him that is called the broad mind, a greater, broader vision.
On the same note, and just before we wrap up our discussion, one last question that I would like to put up to you. The problems that we see today are also probably the reason is probably we have not established right relationships, like whether the relationship between two countries, relationship between nature and human beings, relationship between it's a failure of establishing the right relationship, right?
Yeah,
And if we establish right relationship with everybody, right, there would be peace, harmony, right?
yeah,
So how what would you like to say about this? And after that we can wrap up, Mr. Bhatti.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well, as I said at the beginning, we had to put ourselves into their shoes.
Okay, okay, okay.
Don't do
Hmm.
anything
Okay,
that hurts you.
right.
Whatever makes you comfortable, happy, peaceful,
Hmm.
do that to others.
Very good.
That is what we call samma ditthi,
Okay,
right view, right understanding.
right.
We all must have that right understanding.
True.
Nobody likes pains. Nobody likes suffering.
I think,
Everybody
yeah,
wants happiness. Everyone likes to be happy.
maybe that is what the essence of compassion is, right? To see
Yeah.
what others feel, and they don't feel anything other than what you yourself feel when you were in those shoes. If
Yeah.
that realization is there,
Yeah. Because it's when we say compassion, uh, in Pali, Karuna.
mm,
Karuna, compassion means when you see somebody
mm,
is in danger, somebody's in pain,
mm,
and seeing that,
mm,
if your heart begins to throb, if
mm,
you get the heartbeats,
mm,
and because of that heartbeat, if you quickly get into action to reach out to that person to save that person from the danger,
mm,
that is called karuna, compassion.
right.
We all must have that kind of throbbing heart.
Okay, true.
And
Mr.
then we have to
Yeah,
wish happiness to everyone.
everyone.
That's why we always say, Sabbe satta
Mm,
bhavantu sukhitatta,
right,
or
right.
Sabbe satta sukhino bhavantu.
Correct.
May all sentient beings be happy.
Let
It's
everybody.
not just me.
Okay.
It's not just me, not my family,
Mm,
or not my people,
mm,
all beings.
right.
And if we can, so let me give you a teaching of the Buddha.
Mm,
It's called Yata ahang tata ete yata ahang. That means, as I am, so are they.
mm,
As they are, so am I.
okay.
So, so that means I don't like to be hurt.
Mm,
They also don't like to be hurt.
good.
I like to be happy.
Right.
Others also like to be happy.
Correct.
So then, if we hurt others
Mm,
in any means,
mm,
that is the action of the small mind, narrow mind,
mm,
because you don't see the bigger picture.
mm, mm, right.
But then, that is the very reason why people are fighting.
Mm,
That's why people are hurting others.
mm,
That's why people are in pain. That's why people are suffering.
mm,
So Buddha said we need to practice Dharma
mm,
to elevate ourselves.
mm. Okay.
Let's say when you look from your room,
Mm,
you don't see what's going on
mm,
outside your room,
mm.
because in your room, vision is very narrow.
True, true. Very good
But
example.
when you go out, you see, there are more. Again, from there, you don't see all the people. When
Mm,
you climb the tree, you
mm,
see more.
right. True.
But if you climb a tower, you
Mm,
see more.
mm,
And when the plane takes off,
mm,
when you look from the sky, you see the whole region.
right.
But then when you go to International Space Center,
Mm.
you see the entire planet, how it's rotating.
Right. True.
So the Buddha said, we should practice Dharma to make our mind like that.
Mhm.
Always look from the top.
Okay.
Yeah,
Basically, you look at the complete map instead of just looking at one, area of the map, because
yeah,
then once you look at the complete picture, narrow-mindedness will go away, and automatically you will feel what others, the
yeah,
reason why certain person
yeah,
feels certain way. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Thank you, Smarty, for this very, very mindful discussion
yeah,
and taking time out at such unearthly hours. And I hope everybody who watches this see the importance of goodness, for the lack of
yeah,
better word. Why is it important to, as you mentioned, right, feel what others are feeling?
yeah,
How such small things will eventually make this planet a better place where there will
yeah,
be wars, no hatred, daily acts of kindness, the small acts of kindness, as Mr. Bhante rightly mentioned. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the discussion too. Thank you, Mr. Bhante.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So wish you all the best, Pradeep.
Thank you, and have a nice
Okay,
day.
so I know it's a daytime over there in
Yeah,
India.
right.
It's a midnight for me, so good night.
Good night, Mr. Bhate.
Thank you.
Have a nice dream.